welcome to your first lesson with Miss C. Today we'll be taking a look at a few vocabulary words. Now the vocabulary words are labeled CSEC vocabulary words because they are from CXC. If you're not a CXC student, you might be thinking, why do I even need this lesson? Well, you do need this lesson for your quiz, exam, tests, homeworks that your teachers give you every day. Have you ever been in an exam and didn't know what to answer because of the words like examine, explain, discuss, identify, summarize? You're not alone. There are many of us that do not really know what the question is asking us for, so we skip that question because we don't really know what to answer. Don't be one of those people and learn the words using this video. They're important, and we should be ready at this point to open our minds to learn. The first word is compare and contrast. Compare, tell me all the similarities. That's what it's asking you for. Compare and contrast, tell me all the similarities, but also tell me the differences. What if you see the word contrast? Do give me all the differences only. So, let's say you're in a science class, your science teacher says, compare and contrast osmosis with diffusion. What are they asking you for? Similarities and also the differences between osmosis and diffusion. What if they're asking you for contrasting? Contrast diffusion and osmosis. What are they asking you for? Only the differences. What about the word comment? Let's say you're with a group of friends and you tell your friends, please comment on the weather. One of your friends might say, oh, it's a beautiful day, it's sunny, the birds are singing, everything looks bright. Another friend might say, you know, it's sticky, I'm sweaty, it's hot, it's sunny, it's a bad weather. Well, if you notice, these are two different opinions. Yes. So comment means to provide your personal opinion, your belief, what you think. Now, what if you're in English B and they ask you to provide a comment on something? They will more than likely ask you to comment on some form of element. If it's a story, they'll ask you for maybe character setting to comment on that. If it's a drama, they might ask you to comment on stage, lighting, characters as well, and anything that's related to drama. If it's a poem, they might ask you for rhyming, figures of speech. So it depends what literature it is and what element they're asking you to provide an opinion on. But your opinion must also include what effect and what meaning you're trying to create. Now, let's take a look at an example to better understand that. Here's an example from Tijan and His Brothers, the novel you read already. It says, comment on the shift in mood the devil causes in Tijan and His Brothers. What are they asking you for? Comment. So provide your opinion on what element, in this case, mood, right? What about that particular element? What effect is the author trying to create? In this case, maybe the effect might be they're trying to create an eerie feeling so that the audience understands that the character, which is a devil in this case, is bringing negativity, right? Let's say, here's an example of poetry. Let's say it's poetry. It says, comment on the use of imagery in the poem composed upon Westminster Bridge. Provide what? Your opinion. About what element? Imagery. What about imagery? What effect is it creating? Well, in this case, maybe the imagery is beautiful images, right? So in this case, maybe the effect might be that the author is trying to create is maybe beauty, and so the effect would be to create beauty, right? To create an image of beauty so that the audience feels, when they read this poem, they feel positivity. What about the word explain? Explain means to provide what, how, or why. These three questions are answered when you are being asked to explain. Here's an example. Explain the use of symbols in the novel To Kill a Mockingbird. Why? What? How? First of all, what symbol? You need to say the symbol that I'll be discussing is you mentioned, right? So the symbol in this case could be the knothole, the birds, the mad dog. Could be many things, right? So you should need to mention first of all what image or what symbol, sorry, you're trying to discuss. Why? Why are they using that symbol? And lastly, how are they using that symbol? So let's say my answer is what symbol? They're using the mad dog. Why are they using that image? Because when you think of a mad dog, you think of something aggressive, right? And it sort of symbolizes what people in the community, how the people in the community react. That's why they're using it. It's a good symbol, right? How are they using it? They're using it by placing it where, like in a chapter where you can make that connection. So you answer these questions: what, why, and how. The other word, which is very easy, identify. When you're in a test or you have an assignment and they tell you identify, they're not asking you to provide explanation. They're only asking you to point out the main information, right? Copy paste basically, but no explanation required. So it should be very short. Here's an example. Identify the figures of speech in the poem. Are they asking you to explain the figures of speech? No, you don't provide explanation. The only thing you provide is this is a figure of speech. You find it in the poem and you write it as an answer. Discuss. Let's say you're in class. Your teacher asks you to discuss a topic. There will be many opinions, right? A variety. So when they ask you to discuss, they want you to provide, first of all, for and against. A neutral ground, basically. All opinions that could be possibly discussed, that could be possibly mentioned, right? And you're to provide examples to support those opinions. So when they ask you to discuss, provide for, against, and many other opinions before coming up with your own conclusion. Let's take a look at an example. Here's the example. The example says, discuss the importance of having rules in a classroom. You're being asked to discuss, that means you need to mention all of the reasons why it's important, right? Some people might say it's not really that important, and you can also mention, you can say rules are maybe causing people to be too uncomfortable in class, and you mention all other opinions before providing your own. Maybe at the end you can say, yes, I think they're of extreme importance because they provide maybe a balanced class. Last word, I said that, summarize. What does the word summarize mean? Very easy. Provide the main points. Use your own words to do so. It is a long piece of writing. You need to make it in short, but not by copying and pasting like identify, but rather using your own words to summarize it, to make it shorter and identify all those main points that need to be mentioned, right? Make it short, use your own words. At this point, I hope that you don't feel overwhelmed because there are only a few that we discussed. So right now, you may pause the video or you may continue straight through, and we're gonna do a quick mental check. So don't rely on your notes, just check that you remember. Here goes the review. Compare. What comes to mind? Similarities, right? Contrast, compare and contrast. What comes to mind? Similarities and differences. Contrast, what comes to mind? Differences. Comment, what comes to mind when you hear the word comment? Comment on the weather. What else comes to mind? Look at. Providing your opinion. Yes. Explain. Explain means what, why, how. Discuss. Provide the pros and the cons, and then maybe provide your opinion at the end, right? Identify. Point out without discussion. Summarize. Make it short. Identify the main ideas to discuss and use your own words. I hope this lesson was very helpful, and in the next test, this is exactly who you are, the one that understands those questions. Have a good day, guys. Bye.